I wanted to talk with you a little bit today about leaders in the spiritual community because as we've gotten this influx of people in, there's a lot more people climbing up to prominent positions. There's a lot more people offering things, and it's really difficult to tell who's really here for the right reasons and being authentic and who is here just to kind of make money and take advantage of people. This also, of course, falls into the spiritual bypassing category, which I have talked about in different places on this channel. And because I feel like a lot of people are kind of feeling like they're getting hoodwinked and they're having a difficult time really finding people that they resonate with to work with. You know, they get all excited and they get into these programs and they're like, this is really not what I was looking for, what I thought, or this just doesn't seem right. So I wanted to talk about some different ways that you would be able to kind of determine who you're working with is somebody who's on the level or not. So the first thing you want to look at is how this person is talking and kind of approaching you as a client, right? Or part of their community. A lot of times the thing that happens is these people say, hey, I can fix you, but you have to follow me, or you have to do this, you have to do that. I can fix you. I'm the only one that can do it. And I think this is such a big problem because so many of us, gosh, we're damaged. We have a lot of healing that we need to do. We're struggling with a lot of things. Being a human is really hard. And I think sometimes with this instant gratification world that we've been living in lately, we want things that are going to be fixed quickly. And so it's much easier for us to gravitate towards somebody who says, hey, I can fix this for you, no problem, instead of really taking the time to do the work ourselves. Because the truth is that nobody can fix you but you. You're the one that has to do the work. There's no, magic cure-all pill that you can take. Someone can provide you the tools in order to help you grow, in order to help you do your shadow work and really get into those places that are kind of yucky and need a little extra attention. But nobody can actually do the work for you. Nobody can fix it for you. So if somebody's claiming that they can do that, run. The next piece that we want to look at is if somebody's soliciting money from you, whatever it is, if people are kind of soliciting you or saying like, hey, I need this donation, or you should donate to me, or, all these things. There are things in the spiritual community like tithing where people do donate. They'll buy coffees or they'll just kind of, they'll just kind of give you the money. But if someone is asking you to do that, especially not for specific anything, I think that's a really big red flag. All of the people that I've worked with, it's been basically like, hey, if you want to donate something or you want to get them something or whatever in appreciation for their services, it's fine, but it's never expected. It's just something that somebody does from gratitude. So I think that's another thing that we really need to look at when we are looking at people that we're following or leaders. The third thing that we want to look for is, and gosh, I've seen this so much, it's just, this is kind of like my little breaking point here, is when people can't explain their teachings, they can't explain the history or the culture that it comes from. I know a lot of stuff sometimes too, it's been kind of sold and packaged to us in this kind of top surface area, but when you're teaching things specifically to people, whether it's healing practices or modalities or even things like yoga, there is a much deeper history behind what's going on there. If someone can't explain to you why you're doing what you're doing, I think that's a really huge problem. Or they can't explain, the cultural significance of it. Now, some people don't always go that deep, but if you can tell some people just don't really know a lot about stuff and they're just kind of blowing smoke. And once you start asking those more detailed questions, you can really tell that they don't have a really solid understanding or grasp of the subjects that they're teaching. And this is really dangerous because you're teaching people how to do stuff incorrectly in a way that could be dangerous, that could leave them ungrounded, that could leave them vulnerable, and that, could create some disharmony for them because they're not practicing the proper way. And they don't understand that they're not. So these poor people are going out there for years and years thinking they're doing just such a great job with stuff, and they don't know. I think for me, a really good example of where I see this is with energy work. If you do energy work, I think that's amazing. Everybody needs it. But the number one thing that you need to do is you need to ask for somebody's permission before you do that. And I think a lot of us are kind of out of control healers. We see somebody hurting, we just want to help because we have a big heart and we know we can. And that's not always the right way to go because that person might not want you to help them. It might be something that they need to go through and you are removing the lesson from them, right? So if they said no and you wanted to do it anyway, well, maybe they need that and you are keeping them from where they need to be going, because you're taking away their lesson. Also, too, some people just, they don't feel comfortable with other people in their body. I am an empath. I feel people's energies. I can feel when people are thinking about me. I can feel when people are doing energy work on me from a distance. I've had people make me sleepy. I've had people make me nauseous. I've had people make me all sorts of things. So I think asking permission is always a really important thing. And if you are teaching energy work, just like, hey, willy-nilly, go have a good time, I think you're really doing not only that person a disservice, but every client that they work on. So I think that's really important to understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and where it's coming from. The last thing I think that's really important to talk about, that's definitely a major red flag, is if somebody is trying to sell you some sort of enlightenment or some sort of title of some sort, right? Like whether they're trying to get you to be a high priestess or shaman or like whatever this is, right? But these are not places that you get to from a weekend course or a 4-hour seminar. And what I'm seeing in the community is a lot of people are selling the idea that you can be all of these things and get the certificate and be a master of something within these short, tiny little time frames. And that's not how it works. And so many people are going into this thinking that they have what it takes after doing this. And then, of course, they're going out there and not practicing properly. Whatever level of achievement you want to attain, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to remind everybody that it is a lifelong learning process. If you want to be a shaman or leader in the community, it's not something that you just do for like a year or two and then you have that and you're good. The people that are in those positions, they have mentors, they have elders, they are constantly learning and growing and taking classes so that they can maintain that level of status, that they can continue to help people in their community, right? Because the knowledge is just, you can learn forever, right? There's no point at which you are too smart or have learned too much. There's just not. So I think that's another important factor to consider when we are looking at these sort of ideas of genuine leaders. So hopefully that helps you understand what's going on a little bit better and gives you some places of some areas where you can kind of check in or ask questions or really kind of get to the nitty-gritty of things to figure out if the person you want to work with is the right person for you. So I hope that was helpful. Until next time, thank you guys so much for watching and have an absolutely beautiful day.